Hello Guy, welcome to Nation Sports, a channel bringing you the latest news both in the cricket and football world, as Afghanistan defend 209 runs against Sri Lanka to win by 3 runs. Gerbers, spinners give Afghanistan winning end to tough tour. The visitors withstood onslaughts from Pathum Nissanka and Kamandu Mendis to successfully defend 209 runs. Afghanistan withstood onslaughts at both ends of the innings, first from Pathum Nissanka and then Kamandu Mendis, to close out a nervy 3-run victory over Sri Lanka in the third T20I in Dambulla. It means Afghanistan end the series on a high, securing their solitary victory at the last time of asking. Sri Lanka win the series 2-1. The difference in the end proved to be the final 2 deliveries of the respective innings. Afghanistan, having elected to bat first, struck 10 runs off their final 2 balls courtesy debutant Mohammad Ishaq to push their total to 209 runs for the fall of 5 wickets. Sri Lanka in their response ended up needing 10 runs off 2 balls, but Kamandu could only manage 6, that 2 coming off the final delivery of the game. In between were a host of fierce knocks, foremost from Ramanullah Gerbers, who struck a 43-ball 70 runs to set the platform for the visitors' mammoth score. Opening alongside him was Hasratullah Zazai, who bludgeoned an even more brutal 45 runs off 22 balls. Sri Lanka in response had Nissanka lead the way with a 30-ball 60 runs before a hamstring strain forced him to retire hurt, but Kamandu's 65 runs off 39 balls ensured the game would go down to the wire. Suffice to say, it wasn't a day for the bowlers, with none able to maintain an economy rate of below 8. With the seamers on both sides receiving the brunt of the abuse, each taken for more than 10 and over. With just pride to play for, Gerbers and Zazai set about unloading their frustrations over how this tour has gone, as the pair clobbered their way to an 88-run opening stand in just 48 deliveries. Sri Lanka weren't spared from either end during a 72-run power play, as the pair were equal to anything Sri Lanka threw their way. None of Angelo Matthews, Nuwan Thushara, Mathisha Patharana, brought in early in attempt to stem the flow of runs, nor Akila Dhananjaya were spared, plundered to all parts. Gerbers, who's had a torrid tour by his standards, was particularly pleased to finally get some runs under his belt, celebrating his half-century with a look to the heavens and an unequivocal look of relief on his face. He rode his luck as well, dropped on 22 runs by Dhananjaya and then again later on 58 runs by Sadira Samawikrama, both chances in the deep and on the run. Once the opening partnership was ended, Sri Lanka might have hoped to reel things back, but Afghanistan scarcely took their foot off the gas. While they were unable to maintain the scoring rate of roughly 12 runs and over that Gerbers and Zazai had been galloping along at no point across their innings did the rate drop below 10 runs. Successive partnerships of 25, 28, 41, all comfortably above run a ball, ensured Sri Lanka's bowlers were never allowed to build any pressure, and then Ishaq's final over strikes placed the finishing touches on a dominant outing with the bat. Kamandu Mendis waged a lone battle for Sri Lanka through the middle overs. Over the past couple of years, Sri Lanka's bigger totals had frequently coincided with a Kusal Mendis onslaught, but 2024 has been the Nissanka show as far as Sri Lanka are concerned. While his double ton in the Odis seemed to catch many by surprise, Nissanka now seems hellbent on completely transforming his white ball game into one of a pocket-sized power hitter. He signaled his intent in the very first over of the chase, clipping one fine first ball before swatting a short one past mid on a couple of balls later. He saved his destructive best though for Farid Ahmed in the final over of the power play, as he took him for 6, 4, 4, first scooped over fine leg, then slapped high down the ground and finally flayed over point. By the time he left the field he had accounted for 60, off 30 deliveries, of Sri Lanka's 83 on the board. They will hope the hamstring injury that forced him to retire hurt is nothing serious. His parting shot before leaving the field, a slog sweep over deep mid-wicket, was a bittersweet reminder of precisely what they'd be missing out on. Despite Nissanka's blazing start, the required rate still hovered over 10 and over constantly, but Sri Lanka did well to keep the required rate within touching distance even while losing the likes of Kusal Perera and Wanandu Hasaranga cheaply. This was largely down to a momentum-shifting stand between Samarawekrama and Kamandu, the pair putting on 53 off 33. When Samarawekrama fell edging a cut to the keeper, and Matthews shortly after holing out in the deep, Afghanistan might have felt they were home clear. However, another quick-fire stand shifted the balance once more. Dasan Shanaka and Kamandu put on 35 off 17, but with Shanaka run out and Mendes needing 19 off the final over, he and Sri Lanka fell agonizingly short. Please always remember to subscribe to this channel because every subscription is appreciated and value. Have a good night.